So we say, okay, we have a division that is a cost center currently, and because they're production facility, and we see that there is a problem with the quality, and that quality of the final product, and let's say quantity, because well, we want them to produce more, but they are not very fast. So why this happened? Well, because the managers are controlled on cost, and they do not really depend on the quality of the final product unless it is scrapped. And this is not always the case. Well, for example, when you buy a shirt, yes, and sometimes you buy a shirt that well, you see that it's like nice to feel on your body, and if you wash it, it does not lose the shape. But sometimes you can buy a shirt and it will not feel so good, and when you wash it, it has bad shape, or let's say you need to do lots of ironing, so the quality is not so good, but not so bad so that you would return it and that would become a scrap. So scrap is not always when there is bad quality. There can be bad quality without scrap. And they say, well, we just want to minimize cost. We are not willing to look for a material that is of better quality and quality for the end customer. And we do not want to produce more, because if we produce more, then this means that we need to hire people overtime. Yes, and overtime rates are higher, or we need to hire more people, and we already hired all of those who are willing to work for a low amount of money, and we will probably need to pay higher rate to get more people work for our company. And also, if we work in greater volumes, it's going to be harder to manage, and there's going to be haste, and as such there may be some increased waste of material. So this means that my cost-based metrics, they will be not so good, and I do not want to do that, because basically I just want to receive my bonus. So cost centers are not motivated to care about quality and quantity, but we can fix that. We can say, oh no, guys, you are not a cost center anymore, you are profit center. And what happens if you're a profit center? Oh, look, now we are motivated to producing greater qualities, because the more we produce, the greater is the number that will be multiplied by profit per unit, and the greater will be the bonus. And also, as we want to now produce more and sell more, then it would mean that we would care about what our end customers think, because if they do not like our product, they are not going to buy as much, and our profit will not be so good. And sometimes we want our center, our division, not to bug us with this, like, please buy us this machinery, please buy us this machinery, please approve this research and development, please buy this license, and so on. So we say, okay, you can do the decisions on your own, you can make these decisions on your own, but we need to make sure that they are okay. And as such, we want you to be responsible for it, to be accountable for it. So we will measure you as investment center. So this means that, okay, you buy your decision, but we will calculate NPV. You can buy your equipment, but we will calculate NPV and make sure that this equipment pays off. Okay, and you might ask, but why wouldn't we judge every division as investment center? Well, because calculating for profit center is much more complicated and costly than for cost center, and especially for investment center. Well, because when you just have one line, one number, let's say labor cost and material cost, it's easier to monitor them, to control them, than when you have to look about revenue and cost, and what would happen if you improve this quality and cost will increase, will the revenue increase correspondingly? correspondingly, and will the profit increase or not? It's harder to manage, and it's costlier to account because it's more complicated. And as for investment center, it is even more harder. So no, let's head office decide. So they decided they're okay with equipment, bring us the equipment, we're going to use that, and don't ask us to provide you the payback for that equipment. So you see, it's not the best all the time. And also, it may as well be that you will need better information systems for that. But what is more important in these responsibility centers is that your business model never changes. So it doesn't mean that, let's say we have manufacturing department and we have assembly department, and now assembly department assembles everything that manufacturing department makes and sells to the final customers. And well, we have a problem that this manufacturing department is treated as a cost center, and they do not want to boost the quantity, and we say, okay, you will be treated as a profit center. What does it mean? It means that every time they dispatch the unit to our assembly department, which is right across the wall, it can be, they will charge some transfer price, and this transfer price would be used to calculate revenue. So transfer price based on quality. Okay, there can be discussions about transfer price. It will be some other important topic, but the thing is that nothing else changes. So the price charged to those third-party clients does not change. They do not really care how everything is managed within our organization. And our manufacturing department does not start to sell externally. No, it's just that we as accountants open our spreadsheets and we add to the quantities that were reflected there. So before we reflected that we dispatched this many goods to assemble. So right next to the number of goods, we will also put the price. And so this is like basically something that happens only within the accounting department. Yes, and I told you about the metrics that we can use: return on investment, residual income. And what is important about these metrics is that, well, return investment looks like return on capital employed, but return on capital employed is not very applicable here, because capital employed, it's what? It's equity plus long-term debt. But quite often with the divisions, they are the same company, so they do not have their own equity and they do not have their own debt. And even if they had some equity, if they were a separate company, it's hard to find the market value of equity of just one division. Well, because we know market value of the group, but we do not know this division, the market value. So we just look at investment. That's why return on investment. Okay, and yes, of course, you will be needed to talk about why residual income is better than return on investment, and EVA is better than the three of the metrics. And what is important is how we calculate the result. So how to calculate operating profit, return on investment, residual income. Well, and EVA, but EVA is usually not tested in this way. The thing is that we need to take our costs that are traceable to the department, and if we want to find the result of the department, then we say that controllable costs, yes, they are needed. But also this department uses some of research and development to get the product to the market, and they also use some marketing that was made by head office. So we need to account for them as well when we want to calculate the net result of the department. But if we talk about the manager, we say the manager cannot control research and development and marketing costs, so they will be praised based on only what is controllable by them. and there's going to be a different value. So that can happen, that managers and departments are appraised based on different numbers. However, quite often when we talk about the departments and the questions such as discuss how residual income or return on investment should be calculated, we will need to calculate different metrics, different values for metrics. So we say, well, if we take all of the costs relating to the department, then return on investment will be like that. One point. Another point would be, however, it seems that the company does not get any benefit from head office cost, even though it needs them to operate. And such, it might be more fair to assess the performance of the department based only on its controllable costs. And we say, let's say, well, even though the department cannot control research and development cost allocated by head office, still they use the result heavily to sell the product, and as such, they needed to get the revenues. And it seems that we need to include that in our return investment calculation, and that metric will be like that. So we will need to provide different calculations, and yeah, it's tricky, but that is what the examiner is expecting from you. And that's it.